This is Dan Leibarger, and today I'm going to show you how to make a hair snake to clean out those drains that has been plugged up all these years and never been able to get them clean with the various chemicals that are available out there. This is a very simple thing that I've designed using a recycled piece of cable, bike cable. That could be either the brake or the gear changing cable. And so I go to bike shops, repair shops, and I pick up their leftover cable. And I bring it home, and there's basically two sizes. Some is very heavy, some is really thin. The heavier one is quite stiff. The thinner one is very flimsy, and I braid three of them together. So today we're going to show you how to make this hair snake, and it's going to be very simple. We need a few tools. These tools, pliers, wire cutters to cut the cable. We need a pair of scissors. We need some leftover scraps of Velcro. This is the hook side of the Velcro. And we're going to need some crazy glue. We're going to need some thread. Any kind of thread will do. I buy my crazy glue in little packages of 4 small tubes. And can you zoom in on this tube? This is tiny little tubes. I get these tubes at the dollar store. I pay $1.49 for 4 tubes in a case like this. So that's a good deal. So the Velcro, just leftover scraps that have been kicking around. Sometimes you have Velcro on a pair of trousers or a jacket that you buy that's you can't get your hand in the pocket because it's Velcro together. You take off the Velcro. You keep the grippy side, and it doesn't matter what color it is. We're going to be cutting strips, narrow strips of Velcro, and we're going to be showing you now how to do it from scratch. Here I have one of the heavier pieces of cable. It's got the bump on the end, and that's good because then you don't have to make a handle. Otherwise, what you have to do is you have to make a handle like that for pulling, and I'll show you how to do that. Okay, first thing we do is we separate the strands. Can you see that? We take a pair of pliers and we separate the strands, because this is what we want to do. We want to put the Velcro in, and we cut 2 little pieces of Velcro and we slip them in underneath some of the strands. The Velcro wants to be about 1/4 of an inch wide and about 1 inch long, and we put back to back so that the grippy part is on the outside, and some of the strands, I thought at first I was just going to wrap the Velcro around, and then I figured, no, that's not going to work because it's going to pull off. This here, when we're finished, is not going to pull off. So we take those strands and we make sure that these Velcro pieces are down, well down in there, so there's a little bit of the wire sticks out. And then we take our thread, any kind of thread. I'm just going to use this black. This thread is for tying eyes onto fishing rods, and it's quite strong. So you just have about 3 inches extra, and you just start wrapping. And as you wrap, you pull, and making sure that those grippy parts are out, and you just keep wrapping the thread around and around and around until it's really tight, and you can kind of squeeze it and get it really tight, and just keep going round and round and round and round and round and round and round, and just wrapping until you're down to just a little bit of thread. I used about maybe 3 feet of thread. Put a little extra down here and just keep wrapping, and just as tight as you can, and squeeze, and tight, tight, tight. You want that to stay. Now when you get to the end, I like to tie it off in a knot, and that's not easy to do sometimes, but you just want to tie it off in a knot. And then comes the crazy glue, You put the crazy glue on it. Now this is going to hold it all together. All that thread is going to be glued all in there, so it's not going to come off. And when that glue dries, it becomes one unit. And then you take your scissors, you cut off the excess thread, and that is done. There's your snake, finished. Just that simple. And when you use it, you put it in and you twist it around as you're going in, and then you draw out this great big gob of hair.
Slowly bring it up. Ew.
I'm going to show you now how to do the braided version of the hair snake. This is when the pieces of cable are very thin. They're too flimsy by themselves as just one single one. So what we're going to do is we're going to braid 3 of them together and make one hair snake. So you need to have a little vise or some means of holding the end. And you put it into the vise like that, secure it well. A pair of vice grips or pliers would work. And then you simply braid over and over and pull it, tighten it up, and just keep going until you get to the end. You have to keep pulling it tight and hanging on to it. It's quite difficult to do, but not impossible. Okay. So we're nearing the end. This is about 20 to 24 inches long. Now that's about the right length for a hair snake. And when you get to the end, you have to cut all of them off the same length. And you have to have some means of holding it together. I have a little clamp here that I can put on it, and that clamps it together, and then you just use a pair of wire cutters to cut them. Okay, now we're going to put on your Velcro, and you do it in the same manner as you did the other. You just take your 2 little pieces of Velcro, put them on, slip them in so that there's one strand on the outer side. Put your Velcro with the grippy side out, of course, and then just wrap your thread. You always leave about 3 inches and start wrapping. I like to wrap right up around the end, and that holds it. And now we can take the clamp off. And as you wrap, you want to squeeze it and make it really tight. You think thread is not very strong, but if you put enough on, it becomes very strong. Now if you decide to make some and make lots of them, you go to bike shops and you collect a lot of these wuzzles. I get them about every 2 or 3 days. I can go to a bike shop and get that much. So they break a lot of cables in the bike nowadays. A lot of bikes, everybody's riding bikes. So just keep wrapping right around the bottom and the top end. And when you come to the end, cut off about, tie it in a knot. It helps to have some helper. And then your crazy glue. I like to roll it around and put lots on. This is my main big expense, is this crazy glue. It's not a big expense if you buy it from a dollar store. Snip off the ends. Now the other end, you have to do the same thing. Cut off the end, tie it in a knot. And then the crazy glue again. There we go. Snip it off. Now if you want, you can make a loop here. And if you make a loop, you have to make a little hole in your braided part and shove it through. You might have to use a tool for this rather than my thumbnail. And now more thread. It's amazing how strong this thread can be if you just keep wrapping enough of it around. You can make a really strong loop. There you go. A little crazy glue on, and there's your hair snake ready for use. When you're finished using it, put it in a little loop like that, hang it up under your sink. Keep your drains clean.